Right, we're here with Savannah Wise, who stars on Smash and who's been in a number of shows off Broadway, on Broadway, and whose father is Tony Award winner Scott Wise.
Truth bomb.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey as an actor and when you first got bitten by the bug, as they say?
Oh, well, I grew up being an actor. I mean, with actors. Both my parents were Broadway performers. My mom and my dad met in the first national tour of A Chorus Line. So I was sort of like involuntarily obsessed with it. It was what was going to happen. I was going to be an actor. But, you know, the first show I ever did was in Raleigh, North Carolina. Both my parents were in it. Both my parents were in the show in Georgia, and they brought me on stage, and I remember like thinking that was the cool day. My parents made a costume for me so I could like be in this group scene because I just wanted to be on stage so badly. And they wouldn't always bring me on because if I was tired, I was like 3 years old, so it was like I was tired or they just wouldn't bring me on. And I remember falling asleep in my mom's dressing room and waking up and thinking I missed my time to be on stage and like crying, and the dresser thought I was crying because my mom wasn't there, and really I was crying because I was worried that I had missed the time when I got to go on stage. So that's really when I was first like officially like smitten with being on stage.
And now sometimes parents who are in the entertainment business don't want their children to follow in their footsteps, but it sounds like your parents didn't have a problem with it.
They were supportive. You know, they weren't always thrilled about it. My mom and my dad know their view was always it's a hard business. You're gonna have to work really hard, and you know, we'd like an easier existence for you. But if this is what you love, we'll tell you how to do it right. We'll tell you the right way to do things. We'll tell you how to train. We're gonna do this the way it should be done if you want to be an actor. You know.
Now, did you go to a formal school for acting?
I did. I went to the University of Cincinnati's College Conservatory of Music, along with some other acting classes that I took as a kid, and you know, I was always performing. So my mom was, you know, when I was first learning how to dance, I always wanted to take like jazz and fun classes, and my mom was always like, no, you have to take ballet. Like ballet is your training. It's how you're going to become a good dancer. Jazz will be fun, but it's not going to make you into a technically great dancer. So like, you know, there were some not fun aspects of the fact that my parents knew what they were talking about.
Right. Now, when did you decide, or have you not decided, which you enjoy better and which you would like to stick with more, the acting or the dancing? Do you have a preference to one?
You know, I never considered myself a dancer.
Mm-hmm.
I've always danced, but when your father is a Tony Award winning dancer, you always sort of feel like you're not as good. I grew up around the best dancers on Broadway. I mean, amazing dancers. My stepmom, Elizabeth Parkinson, is one of the most amazing dancers I've ever watched on a stage. So to compare yourself, I was always sort of, people were like, oh, are you a dancer like your dad? I'm always like, no, I sing and I act. I move, I can dance, but I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was just sort of what happened because I wanted to be different. I didn't want to have to compete with that. So I think I've always sung. The acting was something I had to do, and it sort of ended up being like my favorite part of it. So I was always sort of like an actor who sang and who really liked to dance and who could, you know, if need be.
Now, what were some of the favorite roles that you got to do on stage, whether they were here in New York or?
I mean, Evelyn Nesbit was like my dream role. I remember watching the original Broadway company, and I remember when I remember when they asked me to audition for Evelyn Nesbit, that I was like, oh no, I'm too young. Like that's because originally they were a little bit older, and so when I went in and I was like right for it, I was like, oh my god, I could actually do this. You know, she's like one of the cooler musical theater roles, and she gets to wear cool costumes, and that's pretty fun. But another one of my favorites, I did a lot of great stuff in college that I really enjoyed. I did Brigadoon with the original choreography, which was unbelievable. It was set by Jemsy DeLap. It was unbelievable. And I did Crazy for You. I got to play Polly in Crazy for You, which was a role that I wanted to do since I was a kid. And I saw Jodie Benson do it on Broadway, and she was the voice of Ariel, and that was the coolest thing in the whole world. So I'd always wanted to play that role, and so getting to play, that was like my senior year, my big show, and my best friend played opposite me, and he and I got to dance on stage together one last time. It was all sorts of emotional. It was awesome. So those are like my big cool experiences.
And what was it like working in Rock of Ages?
Oh, Rock of Ages is like a blast. It's crazy. It was like nothing I ever expected to do. It's a party. It's a party, and if you're not ready for it, you know, it's ready for you. It was so fun though. I loved the people there. I made some really great friends there, and doing the show was like so fun, and allowed me like to really be silly. Allowed me a chance to really be funny and be silly and enjoy myself and be sexy, and you know, it's an audience. You enjoy the audience, and the audience enjoys you in that show. You know, it's like there's a lot of participation, whether or not you're talking to the audience. You know,
Right.
It's like a concert, which is fun. It's really cool.
And you were obviously on the whole first season of Smash, and you're currently
Yes.
filming the second season. So
Yep.
what's that been like?
It's been a wild ride. It's been really, I mean, it's a blast to do. It's a lot of hard work, in the best sense of the word. But it's very interesting to sort of create a new television series, and to create a new genre. It's very interesting to see all of that come into play. But I've enjoyed getting to take my love of theater and my want to do film and television, and to combine those things together into one like magical, you know, job is pretty awesome.
Cool. And what would you, what advice would you offer to people who are just starting out in the industry? They're just coming to New York, and you know, you came from a theatrical background, so
Yeah.
you had that instilled in you early on.
You know, I always have the same advice, and I really feel strongly about it. It's like, learn everything you can. Never stop learning. Pick up, you know, when somebody else can do something, learn how to do it. You know, don't think you're never. Oh, I'm never going to do this. You know, like actors and singers who they're like, oh, I'm never going to dance and things like that. Like, know how to do it. You know, you'll be surprised at the jobs it will allow you to have, and the little bitty talents that you've picked up along the way sometimes become, you know, jobs. Which is the goal, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. We really appreciate it.
No problem.